Hey everyone, Maktum's here. Welcome to Code with Maktum. In this video, we will see what is data structure, classification of data structure, that is primitive data structures and non-primitive data structures. We are going to see all these things in this video. So are you ready to learn them? So let's jump into it. So first we'll see what is data structure. So for this, consider an example of a library where you want to search for a book. So say for example you want to search a C programming book. So for that you'll go to a section of C programming books. For the C programming book section, and you can see the number of C programming books are available. So what happened there, the data is organized. Okay, so once you took a book, you will go to the librarian, and what he will do, he will open the register. So everything is maintained there, everything is stored there, all the student details, book issue details, the date, everything will be stored and maintained. So when you take a book, and your data will be maintained and stored in that register. So like the same way in the computer system or in the computer programming, the data structures are basically nothing but the techniques of organizing, storing and maintaining the different types of data items in the memory. So clear with this? So what is the data structure? The data structure is nothing but the techniques of organizing, storing, maintaining the different types of data in the memory. I hope I'm clear with this. Okay. So data structures are considered as a main building block of a program. Set of well-defined algorithm and data structures makes the program efficient. So there's a saying that the set of well-defined algorithm and data structures will make the program efficient. So algorithm plus data structure equals to program. So this is a brief intro about data structures. So let's go to the classification of data structures. So data structures are mainly classified into two types. Those are primitive data structures and non-primitive data structures. So non-primitive data structures are further classified into linear and non-linear. So linear data structures are further classified into static and dynamic. In static we have arrays, and in dynamic we have linked list, stack, queue. And non-primitive we classify into non-linear also. In non-linear we have trees and graphs. So we have already discussed about arrays. So in the upcoming lessons we will be discussing about stack, queue, linked list, trees and graphs. Clear with this? So we understood what is meant by data structure. So let's see what do we mean by this primitive data structure and non-primitive data structure. Primitive data structures means these are the data structures in which already the way of storing everything is defined. So there is no need of worrying how to store the data or how it will be stored. There is no need of worrying because it is already predefined. And the set of operations that can be performed on this data are also predefined. So every data structures will have a set of operations to be performed. But for primitive data structures, there is no need of worrying about the operations. The operations are also predefined. Primitive data structures are nothing but char, int, float, double. These are also called as basic data structures. Integers represents the number without decimal point. Example 1290. Then float and double, this is used to represent a number with a decimal point. Character is used to represent a single character. So I hope I'm clear with the primitive data structure. Next, we have non-primitive data structure. The data types that are derived from the primary data types are known as non-primitive. So these non-primitive data types or data structures are derived from the primary data structures. These data types are used to store group of values. The non-primitive data types are arrays, structure, union, linked list, stacks, queue, etc. I have listed all in general, but actually the non-primitive data structures are classified into further two categories, that is linear and non-linear. So linear data structures, a data structure is said to be linear when the elements are connected logically. When they are connected logically, then they are said to be linear data structures. For example, arrays, stack, queue. Okay, then comes your nonlinear data structure where the data elements are not connected, are not dependent, are not logically related to one another. For example, trees and graphs. I hope I'm clear with the linear and nonlinear data structures. Next, we will see operations on data structures. So what are the different types of operations that we are gonna be performing on data structures? First one, creating of data structures. So we can create the data structures during compile time or run time. Compile time nothing but we are going to say int, char, float, double, or else declaring arrays or declaring the structures. Everything is in compile time. Runtime we can do it using the memory allocating functions that we are going to see in the future lessons. Destroying. So destroying nothing but what, whenever we are creating a data structure, some amount of memory will be allocated to it. So once the operation is done, at the end we have to deallocate the memory using a function called as free function. So this one also we are going to study once again in the next lesson. Next, selection. So selection operation deals with accessing a particular data within a data structure. Then updation. Updation is to modify the data. Searching we are going to see in the next videos. That is, we have two searching types, that is binary search and linear search. So nothing, what is searching means, it is nothing but finding something, finding for an item in the data structure. Then we have sorting. Sorting, it is nothing but a process of arranging the elements in either ascending or descending form. There are different sorting algorithms that we are going to study in the future lessons. Then traversal. Traversal is a process of visiting each and every node of a list. This one we are going to see in the trees. Tree traversal techniques are there, and that is very, very important. Okay. So I hope I'm clear with these things. There is one more thing. No, sorry. Traversal is a process of visiting each and every node of a list in a systematic manner. So I hope I'm clear with operations on data structures. So in this video, we have completed with what is data structure, the types of data structure, and we have completed operations on data structures. So this is your first module, and from this module they will be asking for the examination what is data structure and explain the classification of data structure, or they will be explaining you to explain the operations on data structures. So I hope I am clear with this section. So we are going to discuss in the next video the searching techniques. Okay, so I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.